hope you're all doing okay. So, still in Sweden, and it's an absolutely beautiful evening again. Spent the whole day today just exploring right the way up the coastline, just looking for things to shoot, really. And one thing that's really struck me from being here, it's a completely different landscape to what I'm used to. But I've noticed there's a lot of this sort of pink granite. All of the rock is pink granite, and it's really beautiful shapes. It's all rounded and weathered. So stunning, so beautiful. So I'm just kind of looking for different patterns and different shapes in the actual rocks to shoot. And there's so many different details. Now I've noticed the same as back at home, we have sea thrift on the coast, those pink flowers, and they're just about getting ready to flower. I'm not sure I'm going to capture it while I'm here, but I have noticed, however, that what I can use is the patterns in the rocks, and then there's some white plants that I'm not exactly sure what they are. I'm going to have to look them up and see what they are. But they grow in between the cracks in the rocks. And I'm just trying to find a nice simple image with using those plants and the rocks as well, because I really want to show off the beauty of the texture of these rocks. It's one thing that's really stood out to me. And I'm a big advocate for very much shooting what appeals to you. In other words, if something captures your interest, I really think that's the kind of thing you should focus on and spend the time on trying to make an image of. It's all very tempting to come to a place like this, and I did last night when I was shooting these beautiful buildings with the red roofs and everything like that. But I think there's a lot to be said for trying to tell the story of an area with a smaller detail of an image. And one thing that's personally stood out to me, as I say, is these pink rocks and the beautiful textures in them. So I want to be able to capture that while I'm here. So I'm going to look around, search around for a composition. When I'll get something that I feel is going to really work, I'll take it to the back of the camera and walk you through what I want to do, what I want to make an image of. So hopefully you can hear and see what I'm going to tell you. So as you can see, I've formatted a square crop just to give me an idea of how I want it. And I've got these white flowers bang in the middle of the frame, which, yeah, I guess isn't ideal, but I just like the way it looks. I know it's central in the frame, but I think it works quite well like that. And as you can see, the crack or the crevice in the rock goes right the way across, almost from left to right. Bottom corners, top to bottom corners, and I really like that sort of line right the way across from corner to corner almost. And as the light's coming in now, yeah, I've got a little bit of shadow down here off from the plants, but I don't think that causes a major issue. I just like the whole feel of it. And on top of that, I've left enough space, as you can see, right the way around the edge of the frame there, to capture some of that rock detail that I was just talking to you about. I really love that look. You can see also there's some bits of lichen as well. I just really like the contrast between the pink colour of the rock, the white of the plant, and the shadow area of the crevice along the frame there. Really like it. So I'm just kind of waiting now really for the light to get a bit lower. I think it's about another hour or so to sunset. So as I wait, hopefully the light's going to warm up and it'll actually start to light this rock up. Because what I've noticed is, actually being here, because the rock's actually got pink hues, when the sun gets low enough, the rocks almost have a glow about them, because it's almost doubling the effect of the sunset. So yeah, that's going to look really nice. Along with that, looking at the pattern of the rocks themselves, the wear patterns on the rocks go from left to the top right hand corner. So I've got two contrasts here. I've got the actual lines of the wear patterns in the rock going from left to right, and I've got the crack or crevice itself going from right to left. So it's got like a cross pattern in it. Really like the way it's going to look. I'm hopeful it's going to turn out really well. If it has, I'll pop it up for you next. So, two issues I've kind of got with this shot. One of them is, as you can tell, it's quite windy and it's quite gusty. So what I'm having to do is, I've had to up the ISO slightly so I can get a fast enough shutter speed to stop the movement of the plants blowing around in the wind, because obviously I want that as sharp as possible. So what I've got is, I've got ISO 250 and I've got a shutter speed of a 60th of a second, which is fast enough to slow this down and stop any movement whatsoever. And yeah, that's working out really, really well for me. The other issue I've got, because the sun's off to my right, this is the only place where I can stop from getting a shadow, basically, because if I move myself around here, I get myself right in the shot and there's just too much shadow. So I've had to position myself. That's one of the reasons why I've set up the shot as I have. I've had to position myself right the way around, out of the way of the direct sun, so that I'm not casting a shadow over my subject. So yeah, as you can see, now the sun's getting lower. Just look at the colour of this rock. It's absolutely beautiful. And when you look at it, you don't think it doesn't look real, because the glow of the sun and the pink hues, as I was telling you before, just make it come alive. It just has a glow about it. It's absolutely stunning. And all these little patterns and textures in the rock, you can see where all the rock has moved, and it looks stunning. You've got loads of almost like wave formations through it. So it's really drawn me in, really captured my attention. So that's what I'm focusing on. I knew when the light would hit it, it would give it life. So I've just found an area of rock that I want to work with. Lots of patterns and shapes and textures to play with. And I'm just going to move around and see what works best. But as I said before, it's just a matter of waiting for the right light and capturing what actually draws you in. Over time, that's what I've learned, is not to always go for the obvious shot, is to go what actually grabs your attention and really what you have passion for. If something captures your interest enough, then go for it, make it work, spend time on it, because this is what I've found tonight. One of the lessons actually is, when you come away to a place like this, I'm only here for a week, so it's really tempting to rush around the place and see as much as possible, do as much as possible, and all these little islands and areas around here, we could just run from place to place and place looking for different things. But what we've tended to do tonight, we've found this one little island that you can walk along all these little bridges and walkways to, and found a place to work with. Stick with it. Yeah, the sky's going to go off later, but there's lots of little things we've found that's going to work for us. So just using this one area and spending time to just take time and see what's here and work with what's here, I think I'll come away with more that I'm happy with, rather than rushing around trying to capture everything. So hopefully you can see this again. So what I've done with this shot is I've made another square crop, because I really wanted to focus in and simplify the image, but I've tried two things. So I've brought it in, made it a square crop, because I'm really focusing on the waves and the curves in the rock in the middle section. It almost flows like a wave right the way through, and I just love the texture there. And down the bottom section of the image, there's almost two more rounded versions of the boulders just to contrast against it. And then the top section here, it's kind of more rounded again. So I'm looking for those sort of rounded patterns, top and bottom, and then through the middle of the thing, through the middle of the frame there, you've got more texture and pattern. So tried that as a square crop, and hopefully that'll turn out well. And also, I also took it into a letterbox format as well, and I really like this as well. I just wanted to experiment and see how it looked, but I think I get more of the flow pattern through the centre of the frame there, and it almost goes from the bottom right the way up to the top left of the image, and I think that really works quite well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put both versions of the image up on screen now, and I'd love for you to be able to tell me which one you prefer. Now, as the sun gets lower in the sky, it would be a real shame, even though I've been concentrating on more of these detail shots, it'd be a real shame not to take a picture of this lighthouse that's off in the distance here, because the sun's getting low now and there's a bank of cloud just in the back there, and I think that's going to catch. So I think now that I've got these more detailed shots and the light's fading off the actual rocks, I'll concentrate on that scene over there and see if I can make something of it while I'm here. Right guys, as you can see, the light's starting to fade now and we're getting that last sort of glow of the evening back there. So we'll end the video here. I'm going to show you this last image that I captured of the lighthouse and everything in the background there. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please like it. It really helps me out. And if you like the content, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care guys, see you soon. Bye bye.